What kind of person are you really? You're so hard to control. Why is it that sometimes you have so many demands and conditions, always wanting to show your best, most perfect side to others, but other times you just completely let yourself go? Hello everyone. After a busy period, our school has moved to a new place and we have a new classroom. So for today's filming, we have plenty of natural light. Now let's talk about Lian Zhen, this elusive star sign that's hard for people to grasp. The main issue with it is figuring out how to judge when it's being very disciplined and when it's not. When exactly is that? It's like a cat that does its own thing. The main way to judge is to see whether Lian Zhen is in the state of Hualu or Huaji. The key is to determine which of these two states it's in, Hualu or Huaji. By looking at whether Lian Zhen is in Hualu or Huaji, we can understand that for someone with Lian Zhen in their chart, whether it's in their life palace, career palace, or marriage palace, when it appears as Hualu, this person will have a lot of their own requirements and standards for the palace where Lian Zhen is located. He may seem like he's okay with anything, but is that really the case? In reality, he's not really good at anything. This is actually a major trait of people with the Lin Zhenxing star. So what if he's in the Lian Zhen Huaji position? We often hear it said, Lian Zhen Huaji is called Lian Zhen Qin Bai Ge, and Lian Zhen Huaji is also called neither honest nor upright. When he transforms into Ji, it actually means he's broken out of his own cage. After breaking free, he starts to let himself go. Because Lin Zhenxing is often grouped with stars like Pojun, Qisha, Tanlang, and Tianxiang, except for Tianfu, whenever these stars encounter Shachi, malefic influences, they usually... In this kind of situation, Lian Zhen itself is a star with a powerful magnetic field, a star that influences others. So when it transforms, you'll find that this person's actions, thoughts, or for example, their attitude at work, if it's in the career palace, or their perspectives on certain things, will go beyond what you originally imagined. Let me tell you, it's usually the kind of person who is charming and attracts attention from others. In a group, the people who get noticed are those whom everyone values, and when they do something beyond what normal people would imagine, that's when you feel they're truly extraordinary. For example, if I were to defecate by the roadside, it probably wouldn't make the news, but if Andy Lau did it, it would definitely be newsworthy. So sometimes when we observe people's emotional reactions, the reason why some new drugs don't create such a big stir while others do is exactly because of this. It's because Lam Qingying himself is an extremely charismatic new drug. So when he has an emotional outburst, or when his thinking is different from others, people notice and wonder, oh, why is his perspective different from mine? Here's the key question. Not everyone is born with a life biochemical pathway. Not everyone is born with a life biochemical set. The situation is that he was born with an integrity biochemical pathway. But just because someone is born with this integrity pathway, does that mean he'll never want to do something bad at some point? Or is it that if someone is born as an integrity biochemical device, does that mean he will do bad things his whole life? Not necessarily. So the biggest distinguishing point for people to judge is actually this. If we see that his life biochemical pathway is functioning normally, then he will have a lot of expectations and demands for himself in many things. Oh, he might even have a kind of moral or emotional fastidiousness, even though he is very charming. Take Lin Zhenshu, for example. We say he's a new drug that gives off electricity, a generator. But once he activates that electricity, it reaches you just right. But if you try to get closer, he won't let you. At this point, we need to pay attention. If he, because of this, Qi is luck line, for example, if his main line is Bing, and at the end of the year he transforms into G, or if his annual luck is Bing, like in 2026 when everyone will experience the G transformation, he will experience a G transformation in his face. At this time, he will become someone who, although he usually has many rules of his own during this 10-year cycle, or during this annual luck he suddenly wants to do things differently from before. Similarly, if someone is born with Lin Zhen transforming into G, but when he enters the GR phase in his 10-year cycle, he suddenly feels, I should really think about how to make my life a bit more regulated. Like I said, this year everyone is experiencing the Lin Zhen transformation, right? So I feel that this year is just the right time for me to think about what I want to do and to make some plans. So you'll notice that if you have someone born in the year of Bing around you, and they are experiencing the Lin Zhen transformation into G, and if this happens to be in their wealth palace, then this person might have always spent money however they please since childhood, just spending recklessly for their own happiness. And their logic for managing finances is completely different from others. But this year, you'll notice that they especially feel like they should really set some rules for themselves. This is the Lin Zhen transformation at work. Because of the transformation and the change in energy, they take on two completely different roles, but these can shift with time. This constant change can result in outcomes that are different from what you imagined. Of course, if they're Lian Zhen, if there is no 4 transformations present in their own chart, then we need to look at, for example, when their major luck cycle is in Jia, their Lian Zhen transforms into Lu. During this 10-year period, they are very disciplined. But if the annual luck happens to be Bing, then again, during this 10-year period, they are very disciplined. So from age 21 to 30, they should all be under Lian Zhen transforming into Lu. But suddenly, in the year when they turn 28, the annual luck brings Lian Zhen transforming into Ji. That year, they suddenly feel like, I want to do something different first. This is how it is for most people, for every new medicine. When we are learning, we feel there will be a lot of changes. This kind of change makes us feel unsure about how to grasp each new medicine. It's never as simple as we imagine. Each one has its own key point that influences its changes. If everyone is interested, next we'll talk about the 10 main types of stars and their transformations. Every main star has its own point of change. For example, we might think that the Tiantong star, which is known for being kind and not competing with others, actually isn't always as you imagine. Sometimes it's the opposite. He'll want to argue with you about everything, or take the Jumen star, which we think is argumentative and likes to debate with others. But sometimes he doesn't know how to talk to you at all, and may even be inarticulate. What makes Zi Wei Doshu so interesting is precisely that it isn't simply black or white. Of course, when we're learning it, the most painful part is that you can't just distinguish things by saying, hey, shouldn't the Tanlang star look like it has a lot of romantic encounters? But why is it that my friend, who clearly has Tanlang in the Fuji Palace, doesn't seem to have that at all? Well, that's because every star doesn't just have a single aspect. If you all like this, and there are lots of comments and likes below, then I'll go ahead and talk about all 40 stars in Zi Wei Doshu.